Nelson's lunch turned out to be tadpoles from the puddle. Marge couldn't stand watching from the side, so she gave Lisa's lunch to Nelson. To show his gratitude, Nelson started to curry favor with Marge, but Marge said, "I already like you." From then on, because of her own children's indifference, Marge became more willing to spend time with Nelson and even invited him to her house to help with odd jobs to earn money. When Bart and Lisa came home from school, they saw Nelson on their lawn, and Marge was wiping dirt off his face. Bart was utterly shocked. One night, Nelson knocked on the Simpsons' door. He'd been abandoned by his mother, who was leaving for Hollywood to become an actress, so Marge invited Nelson to stay at their house, making him Bart's roommate. Even in his own home, Bart was so scared of Nelson that he had to sleep on the floor. The next morning, Bart pouted and refused to eat the breakfast Marge made. Nelson gave him a slap, and Bart obediently finished his meal. That night, Bart heard someone singing outside. He walked out of his room and found Nelson, who was missing his father terribly, so Bart decided to help Nelson find his dad. The next day, Nelson opened the door and was shocked to see his father. It turned out that Nelson's dad had accidentally eaten a peanut-containing candy while buying cigarettes. He was allergic to peanuts, which left him with a disfigured face. When he went out, he ran into a circus and was dragged in to perform. Bart happened to find him there. Nelson's father had never meant to abandon him. Nelson's mother also got an acting job, so she no longer needed to go to Hollywood. The whole family was finally reunited. Burns held a company meeting at the museum, and it turned out it was just to make his escape easier. Just a moment ago, the employees were expressing their gratitude for having such a good boss. But in the next second, Burns announced that due to rising medical costs to cut expenses, he was canceling the employees' medical benefits. It turned out that was the surprise mentioned in the invitation. The employees weren't having it, and chased after Burns to get justice. Unexpectedly, Burns got into a flying car. Watching Burns fly up into the sky, everyone was helpless. The Simpson family had to try their best to avoid getting sick because of this. Homer also started looking for a second job at a new company that offered comprehensive medical coverage, but the staff there ignored Homer completely, only focusing on playing games. Under the influence of the nuclear power plant's employee policy, many companies in Springfield canceled their prescription drug plans. Because of rising pill prices, the nursing home replaced the medicine given to the elderly with coconut candies, and old Abe even got a fly. And angry Abe said he didn't die in World War II, but in his old age, he was at the mercy of a few pills. After returning home, Abe told Homer he had a way to cross the border, and needed Homer to go with him to get the daily necessary medicines. Frightened, Homer quickly started grinding off his fingerprints. The two drove to Canada. Old Abe found his friend, got a health card, and bought enough medicine at the pharmacy. On their way back, passing through the checkpoint, Homer showered the inspector with compliments, easily gaining his trust. The two returned with a full load, which made Abe instantly the most respected person in the nursing home. On the other hand, Marge and the kids had already prepared a surprise for Homer. An excited Homer had to take his last pill to calm himself down. Springfield's concert hall had been turned into a prison. Here's how it all started. Marge had always thought Springfield lacked an artistic atmosphere, so she asked a designer to build a one-of-a-kind concert hall for the town. Unfortunately, the residents of Springfield had no interest in listening to music, and the concert hall was soon abandoned. Burns bought it and converted it into a prison. But with far too few inmates, the prison kept losing money. Clancy had to start enforcing old laws to lock up more people. That very night, they arrested Homer for illegal garbage transportation and threw him in jail. One day, Homer suddenly saw an inmate fall from the upper floor into a garbage truck. Worried about the man's safety, he quickly informed the prison guards. This act inadvertently made Homer an informer. Burns offered him a private cell and extra perks, forcing Homer to agree to continue snitching. Homer quickly settled into his new role. Even in the shower, he kept an eye out for suspicious tattoos on others. For this, he earned a 42-inch TV, while the tattooed man was thrown into solitary confinement. The other prisoners soon realized there was a snitch among them and vowed to find out who it was. Homer even earned a Tiffany necklace for Marge through his snitching. Marge was skeptical, so Homer had to confess the truth. "I'm the prison informer." In her shock, Marge shouted it out loud, and suddenly, all the inmates knew the secret. They tricked Homer into thinking there would be a prison break that night. Homer immediately told the guards, but it was a trap. The prisoners planned to kill the snitch while the guards were distracted. A riot broke out in the prison. At the critical moment, Burns arrived with his men and rescued the Simpson couple just in time.